Today we're unboxing the GEEKOM Mini IT13, and this one's kitted out with an i9-13900H with 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM and a 2TB NVMe drive. So this thing's a little bit of a tiny powerhouse. Now I've turned down all kind of like payments for this, and they offered affiliation links, but I've said no. So there will be links in the description below, but I'm not getting any money for them. And this is purely because I just want to check out the hardware itself. I've not got to check out a little PC like this before, so it's well worth having a look at. So it actually has quite a bit of weight to it. I thought it'd be a heck of a lot lighter. But yeah, this is it. Now, because it's Intel onboard graphics, the graphics are terrible. Like, capabilities are not good at all, but the processing power is very good. Now, it's not comparable to the same CPU on desktop with the same number. I've actually got one that's exactly the same as this, but a desktop variant, and it is a lot better on desktop, far more cores. But the single core performance is very close. So this thing could be good at gaming if it had like an external GPU enclosure. But of course, if you're buying an external GPU and an enclosure, you're going to end up just basically needing a desktop as normal and not this kind of tiny thing. But for production, when it comes to doing video editing, this thing is actually really good. Has a quick sync on the CPU, and that means the actual video editing is extremely fast. For me, this is actually going to replace my laptop that I use for video editing when I'm traveling. And now I'll be able to do it a hell of a lot faster with this. But of course, I'll need to plug into a display somewhere, which will probably be a hotel monitor. Now this thing does come with a surprising amount of I/O. We've got two USB 3 on the front, along with a headphone jack, and of course the power button itself. And the overall design is simple, just a metal box. Looks quite nice, and of course ventilation holes on the sides. And then on one of those sides you have a lock, because of course this thing's tiny, someone could easily steal it very quickly. And then on the back, you've got power, two HDMIs, you've got two USB 4, which are basically a USB that can do like Thunderbolt stuff. And then you've got your older school USB, so you have a USB 2, and then you have a USB 3, along with an Ethernet port as well. So a hell of a lot of actual connectivity back here. It even puts pre-built desktops like from Dell and such to shame, because it actually has more I/O. And you might have also spotted that it has a media card reader on the side as well. Much more stuff than I was expecting on this tiny PC. I thought it'd have a couple of USB points, one HDMI I was actually expecting, and it comes with a lot more than I was thinking it was going to. So very cool. Then we've got in the box, so of course you've got your power supply, you've got an HDMI cable. Power supply is very chunky, actually at least half the size of the actual device, a little bit thinner, but far wider. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I guess we should have a little look inside now. Now this assembly is pretty simple. You've got 4 screws here, and these are actually locked onto this back plate, so you cannot lose them, which is a good thing. And of course they've got little rubber feet attached to the screws as well. So if we take these off, this whole plate will just lift up. It does have a ribbon cable though, so if you are disassembling this yourself, make sure not to just yank that off, because you could very easily break the very delicate ribbon cable in here, which actually connects up to an alternate SSD location for a second drive. But yeah, once you loosen this all up, it is pretty simple. You just lift it up. There's no catches. There's nothing major getting in the way. And of course, it's all just normal screw heads, so nothing complex about it, which I was very impressed by. But yeah, as you can see here, there is a ribbon cable, and this goes to our SATA or a SATA port for a full-size SSD there. So you can see here we've got 2 DIMMs for laptop memory, DDR4, and we've also got a NVMe drive, 2TB in this model. And of course, different sizes with different models. And yeah, you can put an additional drive in here, another SSD, or I guess there actually is mechanical drives that can fit in this too, but you're going to want to, of course, run SSDs. But that's it. And you can see here, those rubber kind of hole fillers are for screws for the SSD, and it comes with them in the box. So that's pretty damn cool. But yeah, the interior of this thing, I very much like. They could have gone with a lot less I/O, and performance is pretty good, but not for GPU performance. Now, if you're looking for actual performance numbers, there'll be a link in the description below that goes to a longer video about this where I actually dive into performance. But this video is purely for unboxing. So yeah, what they've managed to fit in this thing is cool. I think it's a really nice thing. It's the first time I've ever checked out a tiny little PC like this, and overall super impressed. And here is the final peel to end the video. Yeah, not the best looking device or anything like that. It's not fancy, but it does the job quite well.